Hi, this is Sherry Veronica. There was no voice in his head. There was no voice in his head. He did what came naturally. He did what came naturally. He did what was instilled in him at DNA level after hundreds of years in a system that did that made you that way. You came out from Africa that way, okay? You came out from Africa that way. It's in your DNA. It's part of who you are. And until Barbadians look at this and admit it to themselves and own up to it and have facilities for everyone from childhood, there should be some sort of psychiatrist or some sort of specialist at the school, at every school, to deal with children born in Barbados. It's who you are. It's who you are. And you know it is. You know it happens in almost every home in Barbados. You know it happens. And a lot of people, well, I'm not even going to go there. I'm not going to go there. What I'm going to say about this is, he is saying that there was a voice in his head and he had a mental break, but yet he cannot even count the times he had that mental break. He cannot count the times. It happened so often. He cannot come back to him. When he had that first mental break, he didn't go to seek help. He didn't pull himself back. He didn't tell someone and try to stem it from going any further. He didn't do that. He continued on. And the only reason it got to the point it got to was because he wanted it to continue. He loved the way it was going. And he loved the fact that, what do you say in Barbados? Keep your mouth shut. Mind your own business. Keep your mouth shut. That not happening is what saved his daughter. The fact that she did not keep her mouth shut. The fact that who she told did not mind their own business. They called for help. They called for help. Okay? People calling for help means they're not minding their own business. They care about what happens to their friends, their family members. You know, some people actually care. Okay? Some people actually care. And please remember, please remember that whenever you hear a Barbadian cackling those words out of their mouth, keep your mouth shut, mind your own business. Watch that. Well, you don't even have to watch that person, because that person gave you the warning. That person told you who they are. You should say thank you for the warning. When you hear people speaking a certain way, you have to look at them and say thank you for the warning. They're warning you about them. They're warning you about what they're capable of doing. They're warning you about themselves. So this father talking about a voice in his head is who you are. It wasn't a one-time thing. It's who you are. One time was too much. One time was too many. One time is unforgivable. Unforgivable. And you're treating her as though she was a chisel? A chisel? No. There's no voice in your head. That's DNA. That's DNA. How do you fight DNA? They say it's hard. Some people say it's impossible. You gotta give some credence to that. It could be impossible. So what do? You take yourself out of situations. You take yourself out of situations. If you know that you are capable of doing something, don't put yourself in that something. It's like being an alcoholic. You stay away from friends who drink. You stay away from bars. You stay away from parties that are serving alcohol. That's what you have to modify your behavior. If you cannot change, and because I watch a lot of things about DNA and genes, and they're saying, it's actually fixed. What you inherit from your parents and what you inherit when you come through that portal is fixed. So if that is the case, you have to manage your emotions. You have to moderate every move you make. You have to manage everything you do. If you cannot fix your DNA, you have to remove yourself from situations. You have to remove yourself so that your DNA don't kick up. Your DNA see it and smell it and whatever and start to kick up, and it's all natural. Don't get me wrong. It's what is happening to you and the things you do could be considered natural. You know, there was a time that you all were like cannibalistic. You know, it was natural. It was natural. It was natural. And sometimes people go back to those feelings that it seeps up. What you are can seep up, and you find yourself doing things, saying things, being a way that when you look yourself in the mirror, like this father was saying, I cannot even understand why. Why? It was natural. You did what came natural to you. You're not man enough. You're not brave enough. You're not strong enough to defeat your circumstances. You know, you may not be able to defeat your DNA, but you need to be able to be intelligent enough to know when to remove yourself from a situation. When someone comes and sits in front of you and fanning around or whatever, you say, let me get out of here. Let me get out of here. You pick up your bag, whatever, wherever you, just let me get out of here. Let me go outside and sit in my car and wait for my name to be. You have to know, and you have to learn. You have to be intelligent enough to know that if you cannot fight your DNA, you have to learn how to modify behaviors that can be aroused by your DNA, by what you have inherited by coming into this world, by coming into that mother and that father, the father who fertilized the egg. You have to watch those dynamics and say, well, he did it, or she did it, and everyone is doing it. And if you don't want to do it, you have to stay away from those situations. And if you're not staying away from those situations, don't talk about no voice in your head and no mental break. Don't talk about no voice in your head and no mental break. Okay, it's unforgivable. It's unforgivable. Unforgivable. And they need to have laws in Barbados. These particular laws for these matters should be like 40 years. 40 years. No early release. No, nothing. 40 years. Because it's unforgivable that you saddle someone with a lifetime of trauma, of those memories. Those memories is traumatic. What did she do to deserve it? What did she do to deserve it? I guess you never gave that a thought. The voice in your head never had you think like that. What did this little girl do to deserve it? To deserve to have a father like me? What did she do to deserve it? You should get life. You should get life. You should get life. You should get life. Life at the hotel there in St. Philip. You need to fix your laws to give people life for doing these kinds of things. This is Sherry Veronica.